This is the 80s Show on iHeartRadio.
Say ho, ho, say ho, 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 ho. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. Say ho, ho, say ho, whoa, ho, whoa. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show. Let's start the show.
Top of the morning to you. Are you, why is my phone making that noise? Did you hear that, Funkhauser?
No, I don't hear nothing.
It's unsettling.
What is it?
I don't know.
Did you get a message?
I can't figure out what alert it's alerting me to. Huh.
I got one of those this morning, too. Strange.
Yeah, it's like sometimes your phone makes new sounds, and this morning it made this sound in the car on the way in, and I thought it was my car, being like, am I short on oil? What's going on? Because, like, I'm in this thing. I'm in this slow dance of death with my car. Where back in the day, the first time I made any money whatsoever, I went and I bought myself what was at the time kind of a nice car. I got myself a Lexus SUV without realizing that it was a grandma mobile. Like, you know how you only ever see cars on the road after you've bought one yourself. It's like you never noticed them before, and then you own one, and then that's all you see on the road. It's a fascinating insight into the way the human mind works. But when I started seeing them on the road, I realized that only soccer moms and their moms were driving this car around. Like, I grew up in England and in New York City, not really driving cars. It was all about taking the tube in London, which is their version of the subway. And then in New York, I took the subway and buses, and I kind of just viewed cars as a set of wheels that help you get around. I never once thought maybe your car says something about you. So when I first made any real money, and almost immediately I stopped making real money after I bought this car, I was like, I'm going to get myself a nice car. So I did. And I promised myself that I would drive this car into the ground. I was like, all right, I'm getting a pricier car than maybe I need, but I love it, and I'm going to drive it into the ground. That is my promise to myself. It's like the thing has a tape deck in it. It's an '02. Like, I can't remember what year I bought it in, but I bought it used, and it was an '02. And it has close to 200,000 miles on it, a tape deck, and you look at cars now, and they've just got everything, all the bells and whistles. You can Bluetooth your phone into everything. The car essentially drives itself. You can do whatever the hell you want as you cruise down the freeway, and it's all sort of digitally synced up to the rest of your life, and that's incredible. My car has a tape deck in it and a CD changer in the glove box. But credit where credit is due, it drives like the day I got it. And I promised myself, I made myself this promise that I was going to drive it into the ground. I would. The only way I could justify getting a pricier car was to agree that I would get the maximum amount of value out of it as I possibly could. And I'm doing that. But occasionally it makes a sound or a check engine light comes on. It really nothing major has happened to it. I've had to change belts once or twice. And that's been it. That's been the extent of the work that I've had to put into this thing. But occasionally, like, a check engine light will come on. And then, like, this morning I heard a bing. I was like, huh? I thought that was my car. I'd never heard that sound before. And it's my phone. And now my phone's making new sounds. And, oh, God, it's annoying. Really, really annoying. Makes me paranoid. Makes me feel like the other. Does your phone ever make a sound that you don't recognize, and all of a sudden you feel as though the other shoe's about to drop? Because that's what happens for me. Maybe it's a paranoid type of state that I live in. Maybe I need to cut down on the coffee. Maybe I need to relax a little bit and chill the hell out. But when my phone makes a weird sound, like it did just now, especially right as I'm starting the show, weirds me the hell out, man. And I don't even smoke pot. I don't do anything. That's exactly the sort of thing I'm talking about. Drives me nuts. Oh. Is it?
I don't know what's happening now.
Anyways, now that we've discussed my shortcomings in terms of common sense and paranoia, we can move on with the show. Today on the show, we talk about the principal that paddled one of the teachers that worked for them. How do you feel about this? Publicly humiliated in front of students. I'm sort of okay with that. We'll get into the whys and wherefores of that a little later on in the show. Right now, though, I want to talk to you about where we're going as a country. And I don't mean in the, let's talk about where America's headed. No, we're headed into an election year. Let's dial it back and think in more immediate terms. And here's something that you're going to notice. The closer we get to 2016, the closer you get to pulling a lever and picking a new president, the more and more you're going to find yourself encouraged to check your individuality at the door. The more and more you're going to be encouraged to be a joiner. The more and more you're going to notice weaker-minded people being joiners and then encouraging you to do the same thing. Sometimes ridiculing you if you don't. You don't vote a party, you vote an individual. Well, that's one way of thinking, but it doesn't get you too far. Just in terms of the way the rest of the world looks at you, because it's not useful to America as a machine to have you think for yourself. It's not useful to political parties getting things done to have you think for yourself. America is an incredible country, one of the best examples of democracy that ever was or ever will be. But we don't really celebrate the individual around here. It all sort of requires us to check our individuality at the door. We're having our edges ground away. We're becoming more and more like cars. It used to be you were able to look at a car in the street and go like, hey, that's very distinctive. I know what make of car that is. And now you'd be hard pressed to pull an identification out of your butt because everything's starting to look the same. To politicians, they want you to look the same. They want you to think the same. They want you to act the same. Don't be pressured into it. We'll get into why in a second.
Bethany Hamilton lost an arm surfing in a shark attack, and what she had to overcome was crazy in the aftermath. Nobody would have blamed her for taking a different path, but she's pro surfing now, so what do you think of that? Helen Keller was an animal caged by being blind, deaf, and mute, but a teacher and soul that never gave up on the truth that what people say is impossible is just their own perception. Taught Helen how to speak and gave her life its direction. And if a woman can go from being considered to be legally an animal to a college grad activist, symbol of what's possible, don't you think it's true that you might have more to you than whatever people told you you're not smart or strong enough to do? You're giving up on ever being any better than this. You're giving up on the idea that even more exists. Giving up, nothing on earth will end you faster. Cause when you lose hope, that's a real disaster. Giving up on ever being any better than this. You're giving up on the idea that even more exists. Giving up, nothing on earth will end you faster. Cause when you lose hope, that's a real disaster. Yeah, so many people you see giving up, cause it's easier to face giving up than not living up to all of the things that you had said you wanted to be. When running away from challenge seems to be so much more easy, cause man's search for meaning means disbelieving, means not perceiving you're less of being, and you got something to offer that no one can take away. It means not accepting what life hands you every single day, and every way you write a story that just belongs to you. So when asked to write your own story, what you gonna do? When asked to write your own story, what you gonna do? When asked to write your own story, what you gonna do? When asked to write your own story, what you gonna do? When asked to write your own story, what you gonna do?
Got somebody to be right. Got somebody to be right. For now.
You're giving up on ever being any better than this. You're giving up on the idea that even more exists. Giving up, nothing on earth will end you faster. Cause when you lose hope, that's a real disaster. Giving up on never being any better than this. You're giving up on back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving your musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a body better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving your musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD, and can't nobody rock a body better than me. Hey, you, what's that sound? I'm coming so loud from your radio dial. AD, be getting down when you're rocking the jams. Here I am, going back once again. I'm ruling all city like the king I am.
So, if you're just joining us, as we were discussing, as we get closer and closer to 2016, as you get closer and closer to pulling the lever for democracy and selecting a new president, you're going to find that more and more, you're going to be sort of expected to check your individuality at the door. And America is a wonderful, amazing place. It is one of the best examples of democracy that ever has been or ever will be. But it doesn't really support the individual. funny, because you hear about, I don't know, things like socialized medicine or what have you, and people are very quick to go like, well, it sounds like commie, pinko stuff we should be scared of to me. Yet, our entire political system is kind of based on giving up who you are and jumping in and being part of a club. And ignoring the things when it comes to politics, the political party being the club in this instance, ignoring the things about the club that bother you because, it's just, you want to win, basically. Now then, nothing wrong with winning. Nothing wrong with figuring out who it is that best represents who you are and figuring out that that's probably the person you want in office. And there's this I get the idea that we should vote. I really do. I understand the idea that we should absolutely vote, that we should treat this as a privilege that many people all over the rest of the world don't have. And a participatory democracy is the best example of a democracy. And that's how it's going to work. People have to participate. People have to care. But when you get into a situation where you've got candidate this one, candidate that one, they're both chuckleheads. I don't have a tremendous amount of faith in either of them. Then you're put in this weird situation where you're shamed and shunned if you don't get behind one of them. And I get it. I really do. Voting is a privilege. And it's a privilege we'll only continue to have as long as we continue to use it. But, as we were discussing, as we get closer and closer to election time, politicians are going to want to stop dealing with individuals. It's not a very expedient way going through life, accepting the fact that we are all created equal and come with certain inalienable rights. They don't want to view us as created equal. They want to view us as amorphous masses. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Well, that doesn't really, that equality thing that, okay, I thought we were all supposed to be equal. No, there's many of them and one of you, so you're effed. That seems a little contradictory to the principles upon which this country is founded, but okay, all right. A politician doesn't want to have to deal with you and your pesky individual questions. A politician doesn't want to have to take the time. A politician needs to get the job done, needs to get those votes. Needs to figure out a way to coalesce a bunch of people into one massive amorphous blob of yes men and women and get them to go show up on voting day. That's what they're concerned with. They're not concerned with your individuality and your individual needs. We talk about this all the time, but man, when you have questions, when you have integrity of thought, and you put those questions forward in a political arena, that's a big time waster for people that are hoping to get elected. They don't want to cater to people that are smart with reasonable questions. On the left, they want people dumb enough to get out and vote because someone gave them a free phone. And on the right, they want people dumb enough to get out and vote because you say you're going to protect them against the scourge of gay communism that's coming for them and their children. They want people dumb enough to be pandered to be catered to remove their individual thought process and just be like, hey, there's this thing called gay and it's coming for you. Really? There's a gay guy that lives down the street and I don't know. I never really hear a peep out of him. He loaned me his lawnmower once. Seems like an all right sort of guy. Yeah, that's what they want you to think. That is how they are surreptitiously undermining the authority of the core American values of Christianity and moral uprightness. I thought, separation of church and state. Well, yeah, you're not wrong. But gay is coming for you and your family. So, if you could just line my campaign coffers and I'll protect you from that, that would be great. Well, okay.
Gay!
And on the left-hand side, I don't know. There's a lot of people that have thoughtful questions that how are we going to get them out and vote? I don't know. Well, let's just focus on some poor people. Tell them that they deserve rich people's money, and we're going to start with this free phone, and then they'll all get out and vote. They want to pander to the lowest common denominator on either side. People that are incapable of thinking for themselves, that don't have a desire to think for themselves. And where does that leave you? And where does that leave me? Leaves us being ignored for our pesky thoughts, for our pesky being thinkers. Is that a thing? It is now. I notice more and more